Hey guys, it's Fire Force Doggo again, and there's nothing you can do about it. Today we're going to be looking at the other two weird bolt-action guns from World War II, following up on part 1 where I looked at the Lee Enfield No. 5 Jungle Carbine and the Lee Enfield Obrez. First up, we're going to follow along with that Obrez timeline and look at the Obrez Mosin, which unlike the Enfield has a little bit more history to back it up in the real world. Now, as I mentioned in the first video, Obrez means cut down in Russian, and the Mosin was cut down for a very specific reason. It was used by bandits, mercenaries, and criminals in World War I Russia, the Spanish Civil War, and partisans in World War II. Since smaller firearms were harder to get, the cut-down rifles became popular as a firearm that could be hidden, buried, or otherwise kept out of sight from anyone who might want to confiscate it. This obviously came in handy in World War I when a varying number of different factions might be in a local area at one time, and new enemies or allies were constantly sweeping through. So you wanted to hold on to a weapon that was going to pack a punch, could be easily replaced in theory, and most importantly, you could hide. So people took to cutting down these Mosin rifles so that they were easier to conceal from people who conceivably wouldn't want the average person having one as a potential partisan or an enemy of some sort. Conceivably, militias, guerrillas, and criminals may have even used these after the end of the war, but they definitely showed up in the Spanish Civil War, probably among white Russians who had escaped after the revolution. But given the increasing availability of semi-automatic rifles and handguns as time went on, these likely died away as sponsors or battlefield pickups replaced these rifles in the hands of guerrillas after World War II, especially considering this gun's spaceship level of report and bone-jarring recoil. There's a couple different designs. The one represented here is I guess I would call the pistol style. There's other ones that more closely resemble the Enfield Obrez with more of just a miniaturized rifle appearance to them. Naturally, this is kind of a specialized weapon in the game. Given the lack of sights, is a bit of a guessing game to use, but obviously this wasn't really meant for long-range precision shooting, so it actually shows up in the handgun section of H3VR. It's a fun plinking gun, but it's hard to use for anything else other than the shooting range in the game. It's still fun though. One thing I do like about the Obrez Mosin over the Enfield is that the straight handle bolt is a lot easier to reach over and rack with the offhand without a lot of work, as opposed to the bent one on the Enfield. So it's a lot of fun to horse around with, but by no means is a what I would call competitive gun to play take and hold or arena with. Now, if the Obrez is your cousin who traded his math textbook for a bag of weed once, the Delisle Carbine is the popular girl at your high school. She's a beautiful, near-mythical creature that few have claimed to have touched, and even fewer are believed to have. The Carbine is built off the bones of the Lee Enfield, but fires the .45 ACP round and incorporates elements of other guns such as the M91 magazine and the Thompson submachine gun barrel. The Lanchester SMG is also represented in that its sights were welded onto the rifle, which were then painted with radium for nighttime operations. Apparently a para version with a Sterling-style folding stock and a pistol grip was prototyped, but only a handful seem to have been made out of the 130 total carbines ever built. Now, the .45 may seem like an odd choice for what appears to be a rifle, but this is actually a crucial design feature. The .45 ACP round is naturally subsonic, which when combined with the lack of an automatically cycling bolt and the silencer, created a weapon that was nearly half of the report of an average pistol. This combination made the carbine inaudible beyond 50 yards apparently, and had virtually no muzzle flash to speak of. This had obvious benefits for covert missions, sentry removal, and other quiet applications. This also removed the need for a special subsonic ammunition to be carried like other silenced weapons might. After being accepted into British service, these were used under much secrecy in World War II by British commando units in Europe and also in the CBI theater. One was even used by a special operations executive team that apparently used one to assassinate 2 high-ranking German officials in 1944. The rifle was also used in Korea and Malaya, almost certainly by SAS units, and it may have also seen action in Northern Ireland and the Falklands, but there doesn't seem to be a lot of information about how it might have been used there. In H3VR, the gun's mostly fun because of its history, its odd look, and its unusually quiet report. While not mechanically or functionally unique, it is a great gun to play around with, if for no other reason than handling one in real life, let alone shooting one, is about as likely as this channel going viral. Nonetheless, it's a bit underpowered for mini games like Arena or Taken Hold, so I usually confine my use of it to the shooting range. I will say it's pretty accurate for what it is, given the longer barrel, even despite the fatter, slower 45 round. As far as target shooting, it's a fun gun to shoot as a result. It's not all over the place like the Obrez, although that is entertaining in and of its own right. Well, that's it for today. Crush the like and subscribe buttons. Contribute to my Patreon where you can get exclusive access to things like my breakdown of the latest episode of Pawn Stars. I'll talk to you next time.